Come with me, toy fans.
Evel Knievel was an American daredevil who achieved worldwide fame during the 1970s due to his incredible stunts, attempting more than 75 ramp-to-ramp motorcycle jumps throughout his career. Evel was born as Robert Craig Knievel Jr. on October 17, 1938 in Butte, Montana. Although Knievel was a standout athlete when he was younger, he also struggled in high school, and before too long he was arrested for robbing hubcaps and motorcycles, and generally being a menace. Knievel joined the US Army in the 1950s and volunteered for parachute school, making over 30 successful parachute jumps. After leaving the military, Knievel drifted around before eventually taking up motorcycle racing, which later led to his career in motorcycle stunt work. Evel first appeared on the Wide World of Sports in the spring of 1967, jumping 16 cars in Gardena, California. Not only known for his successful motorcycle jumps, Evel Knievel became just as famous for his failed jumps, and his list of broken bones has become the thing of legend. Like his infamous jump over the fountains of Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, where his motorcycle's rear wheel clipped the landing ramp and Evel horrifically crashed, fracturing his hip, wrist and both ankles and crushing his pelvis and femur. But despite his injuries, this daredevil feat captured the imagination of the world.
When I helped design my line of AMF Roadmaster wheels, I said make them red, white, and blue to bear my name, Evel Knievel. You can see they're built solid, flashy, and hip, and the bikes come with these safety tips that bear my name, Evel Knievel. So if your kids are thrilled, I know just how they feel. These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evel Knievel.
Throughout his daredevil career, Evel Knievel's persona grew into that of the ultimate showman, and his sensational leather jumpsuits became just as well known as his stunts. He also took great pride in his core values and would speak publicly about the importance of keeping his word and preaching an anti-drug message to children before each of his stunts. Evel Knievel became a true American icon, and as his popularity reached its zenith in the early 70s, the Ideal Toy Company began producing a multitude of wildly successful Evel Knievel toys. Hello toy fans, my name is Tony and welcome to an Analog Toys special feature, Toy Histories with Ideal's Evel Knievel toy line. Morris and Rose Mitchum founded the Ideal Toy Company in Brooklyn, New York in 1903 when they invented the teddy bear. In the 1960s the company saw massive success with the board game Mousetrap, but they only had limited success in the boys' action figure market with their range of Captain Action figures and outfits. But when the Ideal Toy Company started producing Evel Knievel toys in the early 1970s, they had an immediate retail hit on their hands. The first toys produced were a limited range of 7-inch tall Evel Knievel toy figures. I'm reluctant to call these action figures because their design is more like a Bendham, with the body being manufactured with a wire skeleton and a vinyl head. The earliest figures came dressed in one of Evel Knievel's signature jumpsuits, and were equipped with a belt that featured Evel's initials on the buckle, a removable helmet, and a swagger stick. The Evel Knievel flexible figures were a massive hit for Ideal, so they were quickly followed by the next logical step, stunt vehicles.
It's an Evel Knievel rally! Far out! Wow!
Evel Knievel, sold separately or with the Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle from Ideal.
Ideal's amazing range of Evel Knievel vehicles started in 1973 with the Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle, a gyro-powered miniaturized motorcycle ridden by the Evel Knievel flexible figure. The Stunt Cycle was the most popular toy in the range, being sold from 1973 right through to 1977, although Ideal would make numerous changes to the cycle over the years. The first edition Stunt Cycle features many chrome parts and is easily the rarest of all the different variations. First edition stunt cycles are very costly to acquire on the secondary market, which is the main reason I don't own one. I have a 5th edition stunt cycle in my collection that has no chrome parts whatsoever. The biggest selling point of this toy was the Energizer, a hand crank launch device that powered the friction motor that was housed inside the stunt cycle. Ideal very wisely advertised this gyro powered motor as needing no batteries or electricity. All a child needed to do was locate the stunt cycle in the Energizer, crank the handle a few times to power the motor, and Evel Knievel would be launched at high speed towards any stunt obstacle the child could imagine. And while I may not be that keen on bendable action figures, in this case it was the perfect design choice to ride upon the stunt cycle and crash into all manner of walls and doors. This winning combination of licensing the Evel Knievel brand and attaching it to an ingenious play feature was pure gold, and after releasing the stunt cycle, the Evel Knievel toys became the best-selling products ever released by the Ideal Toy Company. The Evel Knievel stunt cycle and Energizer would go on to become one of the most loved and iconic toys to ever come out of the 1970s, and this toy gave children of that decade endless hours of enjoyment. But the stunt cycle wasn't the only Evel Knievel product that Ideal released in 1973. They also brought to the market the Evel Knievel Scramble van, and this amazing toy really expanded the play possibilities for young children. The Scramble van was a mobile workshop headquarters for Evel Knievel, and it came equipped with a trailer so Evel can tow his stunt cycle to the next big show. Once on location, the Scramble van can be propped open, and the vinyl wrapped cardboard side panels can be slid back to access the inside of the van. The set comes with a workbench and an assortment of tools that Evel can use to repair his stunt cycle. A job made all the easier with the inclusion of a working jack stand. Heck, the van even includes a chair so Evel Knievel can rest up after a difficult day's stunting. You can already see that the Scramble van is jam-packed with play value, but I haven't even shown you its best feature yet. For Evel Knievel's high-riding stunts, the van also features a 3-piece ramp so Evel can jump the van. The Scramble van is one of the easiest Evel Knievel toys to acquire today, but it doesn't stop it from being one of my favourite pieces in my vintage Evel Knievel toy collection. With the Evel Knievel stunt cycle, Ideal had a bona fide retail smash hit on their hands, and as the popularity of these toys expanded, so did the product line. In 1974, Ideal released the Evel Knievel Stunt and Crash Car. This toy, like all the other vehicles that would follow, also incorporated the gyro-powered motor, and for the exciting finale, this car crashes apart, leaving Evel in the reinforced chassis. In 1974, the real-life Evel Knievel made an attempt to jump across the Snake River Canyon in Idaho in his SkyCycle rocket. This stunt failed immediately after takeoff when one of the SkyCycle's parachutes prematurely deployed. But that didn't stop the Ideal Toy Company from cashing in on this widely televised stunt when they released the toy version of the Evel Knievel SkyCycle the same year. And just like all the other popular toy lines of the time, Evel Knievel also got his own playset in 1974 in the form of the Stunt Stadium. In 1975, the Evel Knievel brand was still as popular as ever, so Ideal continued adding more new and exciting products to entice the children of the 70s. One of the rarest sets to find today is the Evel Knievel Road and Trail Adventure set, but my favourite release from 1975 is the Evel Knievel Dragster. This vehicle has a shock-absorbing front end that slides in and out to convert the Dragster into a Formula 1 car. Once powered by the Energizer, the Dragster speeds off and pops wheelies, and can also deploy a parachute to slow it down. 1975 would also see the release of 4 new carded Evel Knievel figures.
The continuing adventures of Evel Knievel. Ignoring danger, Evel in his specially equipped rescue uniform tries to save trapped miners. In another adventure, Evel's lost in the desert. Water's low. Evel pushes on. Can Evel save the miners? Will Evel find an oasis? The answers to these and other make-believe adventures are up to your imagination while you're playing with Evel Knievel and his adventure sets. Evel Knievel adventure sets and cycle, each sold separately from Ideal.
Okay, so some of these figures are pretty cool, but I'm certain that Evel Knievel never went on a jungle safari. Another super cool toy released in 1975 was Evel Knievel's Chopper Bike. This bike featured long flexible front forks and an upgraded plastic body, which made it stronger than the earlier stunt cycles. And although the chopper also incorporated the gyro-powered motor, the earliest releases did not include an Energizer, but Ideal corrected that mistake in 1976 after receiving numerous consumer complaints. Ideal also released another playset for Evel in 1975, which was sold in a large box labelled Escape from Skull Canyon. This was an interesting toy. But the inclusion of a voodoo motif and a monster that seems to resemble the abominable snowman is just a bizarre choice.
Evel Knievel, escape from Skull Canyon. Pretend the hairy monster has Evel trapped in Skull Canyon, and Evel's going to try and jump out, but there's a log across the road. Oh, just missed. Now you'll have to make Evel crash through the boulders blocking the passage. You've done it! Evel triumphs again. Evel Knievel, escape from Skull Canyon figure, winder, and stunt cycle sold separately from Ideal.
By this time, the Ideal Toy Company was raking in millions of dollars a year due to the popularity of their Evel Knievel toy line. So they made an ill-fated attempt to conquer the girls' toy market as well. Designed to be a female counterpart to Evel Knievel, the Derry Daring toy line was also released in 1975, but unlike Evel, Derry wasn't based on anyone in real life.
What you got there? It's Derry Daring in her wheelie car. Let's see. This is a neat jumpsuit and helmet. I like her long hair. This car's got great lines. But what does it do? Just watch. It does a wheelie. And a jump. Are you sure this is a girl's toy?
Derry Daring and her wheelie car from Ideal.
This spin-off toy line only lasted 2 years and is considered to be a major commercial misfire for the Ideal Toy Company. Despite the failure of the Derry Daring toy line, the Evel Knievel range continued riding high in toy aisles right into 1976. This year would see the introduction of another exciting vehicle in the form of the Super Jet Cycle, as well as an action figure of Evel's teenage son, Robbie Knievel, along with a vast range of die-cast toys.
It's the Evel Knievel Show featuring Evel Knievel's Scramble van. And revving up for action, here's our star. What a jump! Evel's riding the amazing stunt cycle. That gyro power sends him over 100 feet at top speed. Loop-de-loop! And he's not through yet. Into the dragster. Evel's super sprint car with built-in drag chute to slow him down. Here he is on the super cool chopper bike. He's sensational. He's Evel Knievel. He's a knockout. He's Ideal.
1977 would be a pivotal year for the Evel Knievel brand. Similar to one of his many failed motorcycle jumps, Evel Knievel started out riding high, but by the end of the year, the Evel Knievel brand had crashed into a smouldering heap. In 1977, Evel made a guest appearance on the Barnet Woman television show, where he played himself, getting inadvertently embroiled in East German espionage.
I'm an agent for the OSI. Who are you?
Evel Knievel.
All right. I'm Jamie Bond.
But if kids wanted to recreate this episode with their favourite toys, the scale difference made it almost laughable. As well as appearing in The Barnet Woman, Evel Knievel also had the starring role in the feature-length movie Viva Knievel, and this film also inspired one of the rarest and most highly coveted Evel Knievel toys that Ideal ever made, the Stratocycle. In fact, many of the products released by Ideal in 1977 are now considered among the rarest of all Evel Knievel toys, such as the collector's holy grail, the Silver High Jumper Cycle. However, by the end of 1977, Evel Knievel pled guilty to a battery charge and spent 6 months in county jail, and also lost many of his marketing endorsements, including his lucrative deal with the Ideal Toy Company. The end of the Evel Knievel toy line coincided with the demise of his career. Knievel announced his retirement after a failed attempt to jump 13 buses at London's Wembley Stadium in 1975, and although this announcement was a bit premature, with Evel returning to jump later that year, he eventually hung up the jumpsuit for good in 1977 and would never perform another stunt again. After several years of obscurity, Evel Knievel made a significant marketing comeback in the 1990s, but sadly, I cannot say the same for the toys. In fact, toy fans would have to wait until 2005 before the Evel Knievel stunt cycle would be reissued in several different sets by the toy company Puff Slinky. Sadly, Evel Knievel passed away on November 30th, 2007 at the age of 69. He'd been suffering from diabetes for many years. Evel Knievel, the last gladiator, was a larger-than-life character whose daring exploits inspired an entire generation. And if you were alive in the 1970s and either had children or were one, then you surely remember Ideal's legendary Evel Knievel toy line. You may hear me use the word iconic very often when I talk about vintage toys, but never has the word been so perfectly suited to a toy than when it's used to describe the Evel Knievel stunt cycle. This toy occupies a special place in the hearts of children and toy lovers all over the world. Ideal's range of Evel Knievel toys perfectly embodied the characteristics of the man himself. bold, exciting, durable, and utterly legendary.